Hi everyone, I'm going to go through and do a bit of a demo this time on the Gmail system to show you what I think are some of the advantages it has over running through Outlook. Again, it really comes down to personal taste, but 9 months ago I couldn't have imagined life with Outlook, and I reckon it's been now 6 months since I even bothered to turn it on because even though I had a few teething problems, I've adapted to Gmail really well. And I think that some of its features and some of the things that it does that Outlook can't are just so beneficial that I really do like it. I think it's fantastic. So what I'll start off doing though is, because this is a Google Apps for Business sort of demo, if you have a Gmail account through Google Apps for Business and you'd like to run it through Outlook, you can of course do that. There's a wonderful little app or program they've built to make that bridge. To find that, just Google Outlook Sync. Okay, Google Apps Sync for Microsoft Outlook. Click on that. Now they're covering just about every Outlook you could possibly be using now. I doubt anyone will be using Outlook XP anymore. So from 2003 to 2013, all different flavors, and pretty much every operating system you could imagine within the Windows framework. So all you do is you download, you run the program, you then put in your email address and password, which it asks you for, and it configures the rest. And then it will tell you that your Outlook's ready to go. You load Outlook and just use it as you have with anything else. You set up your signatures, do your folders, whatever you like. So even though you're using Google Apps for Business, which is built around the Gmail system, they have allowed, or they've worked with Outlook so that there's no interruption if you're a traditional Outlook user. Just a note on that though, it doesn't work with the free Gmail system. It is actually just designed for Google Apps for Business, which is a business level thing where we all, pay a monthly fee. So yeah, there's that. However, like I said, I am a huge fan of Gmail now, so I'm just going to very quickly run through that with you. Now, please don't be alarmed by the amount of unread email. Most of it's just FYI. I'm just going to mark that one as read. And done. Okay, so first port of call, when you load into your Gmail, it's going to look quite different to mine. It's going to be a few different headers here and there. It's going to be very plain on the background. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go into your settings and just check a few settings, make sure they're all correct. Go into your settings. It should default to what you have, but just make sure. English UK. Obviously that's set by the company defaults, but if someone got it wrong or if you prefer something else, you can change it there. Default country code is Australia, and the rest of it here is mainly just personal choice. I do recommend that you always use HTTPS. That'll ensure that it's a secure server and not as easy to hack into. Well, let's just say impossible, but nothing's impossible with computers. The rest of it is all just personal preferences of how you like, and for the most part when you first start it's all a little bit overwhelming. You can just leave the defaults, and as you get to know Gmail, revisit it and have a look, turn things on, turn things off, have a bit of a play, see what you like. Down here is a rudimentary signature that you can put on your emails, and you can insert images by using a web link. It's fairly basic, but it will do the job. However, there are add-on programs, which I'll explain in later training demos, that do it really well and give you some stats on who's clicked where on your Facebook and everything like that. There's the auto reply that most of you would know from Outlook. So that's where you can do your out of office. That's basically the out of office for same as in Outlook. Don't worry too much about labels, inbox, filters. Filters I've done a lot of, and I will explain them hopefully in a second. Forwarding, if you want to forward your emails to a different email address, you can do so. Make sure IMAP's enabled. That's very handy for some phones. Don't limit, leave the rest basic. Themes is right there as well. I'll ignore these, that's just other stuff. And themes is where I've got my background. So you can do basic ones. Just a quick note, anything with a little squares down the bottom, the pictures actually rotate. So obviously this planets one's going to have multiple pictures of different planets. The ones with a clock are based on the time of the day, and they'll change as the day progresses. So I think I've got the ocean one, and in the morning it's all bright sunsetty sort of thing. By evening it sort of gives you a dusky feel, and we're about midday at the moment, so it's all nice and bright. That's pretty cool. So that's that. Now, recently-ish, Google added some tabs for sorting your emails, and I'll just touch on them quickly. So again, go back in the settings, configure inbox, and what I tried to do was try to separate your emails into primary, the social stuff, the promotion stuff, and updates. And it's given some examples there of what it considers updates for me. So I'll turn that on for a second, just show you. Okay. As with most things Google, there's a lot of configuring you can do, and it really comes down to personal preference. So it's tried to make all my primary emails, and then all my social stuff will be LinkedIn, maybe a bit of Google Plus in there. Promotions is all the places that are trying to sell me stuff, and those sort of things. Mainly, PayPal advertiser gets a bit mixed up there. And updates, a few updates there, like my Google alerts for different things. That's fine. I don't really like it that way. I could add more. I don't like it. I'd rather just have it all bundled in the one. So I'm just gonna. The main reason I have it bundled in the one is because there's no way I could get through all of my emails anyway. I'd rather just have it in one location, and if I want something, I'll search for it. And there's some very cool searching tips and tools and everything there. Okay, so the other thing I should mention at this point is you can switch between Gmail and Outlook. The whole idea of the IMAP system is that everything stays on the server. So you're not actually bringing anything down onto your hard drives or anything. It's all just an interface in the cloud. So whatever I do here, if I had Outlook running, the same will happen in Outlook, and vice versa. So you don't have to commit yourself and say, right, that's it, I'm just going to use Gmail from now on and to hell with Outlook. You can have a play in Gmail and do a few things and go, yeah, no, I'm over that, I need to get some work done. Go back into Outlook, keep working, and the stuff that you've done in Gmail will be there. The emails that you've sent and received in that time will all synchronize. So it's a wonderful safety net. You can really sort of dabble without commitment. Here we go, I've got 11,000 emails in there. And just while we're on it, if I scroll right down to the bottom, it will tell me how much all Google Apps for Business paid accounts get. 30 gig per user to be shared between your emails and your Google Drive and whatever little bits your calendar uses and so forth. And I'm using 12% of that with 11,000, and I've got quite a few Google Docs. So that shows how big that really is. You can also expand that for a small fee every month, so speak to your administrator if you feel like you need more. Okay, so one of the other things that I'll talk about is I was using Outlook, and I had folders. So how does that translate inside the Gmail interface? Very well, I may see. So if I go down to here, you can see I've got a couple of folders named, and they're inbox/. They were actually ones I created inside Outlook. And because I'd nested them, I'd put them under the inbox directory. That's why it's saying here inbox/govlink. Okay, and I could move things in and out of those, and it will reflect in Outlook. Whatever I do here, it will just be replicated across in Outlook. As from that point on, I started to create my own folders inside Gmail, which are kept out of that inbox subdirectory. Except Gmail calls them labels, and the reason why they're not called folders and they're called labels in Gmail is because it doesn't actually move the emails anywhere. Like in Outlook, when you move them into a folder, you're physically moving them out of your inbox and you're putting them into a subfolder or another folder. They're coming out of your inbox. So that in itself is actually not great, and it was very frustrating for me because I could move something 6 months ago and then I need to find it. If I search my inbox, I won't find it. So I have to search that folder. Now, there is facilities to search your entire mailbox and stuff like that, but it just seemed a bit cumbersome for me in Outlook and everything like that. Whereas in Gmail, and you can see here, one of my wonderful clients is APRS, I've just set a label called APRS, and I was able to give it a color, purple, like so. Thanks to filters, I can actually apply that label through a filter. So every time that anyone from the APRS organization emails me, comes up with a nice purple APRS. So what I get is I get a nice graphical representation of the work I'm doing and who I'm doing it for, and you can name this as urgent, to attend, company names, whatever you want. You can call these labels whatever you like, but they're the replacement of folders inside Outlook, but they stay in the one spot. It's the best of both worlds, because if you want to see it in a folder sort of arrangement, all you do is click on APRS. Now that purple's gone because it's everything that's been marked as APRS. So you really do get the best of both worlds there. If you want to see it in a folder, there it is. But if you want to just see your emails as they come in, crikey, I've lost my inbox, there it is. If you want to just see the emails as they come in, wonderful. And of course, you get little unreads there, so that's all good as well. So that's great. I really love that feature. Now, how do you create it? I've done these automatically, but you can manually do it. So I will pick, let's pick a random. I'll pick the advertiser. That little tag there is your labels. So from there, I could choose, and you can choose multiple, which is another very cool thing. So with folders in Outlook, you've got one option. You can move it into one folder. Whereas with this system, I can tag it with certain things. So I could say it's APRS, it's got something to do with colorblind, it's got something to do with GovLink, and I need to attend to it. Okay, I'll go back now. There it is. APRS, colorblind, GovLink, attend. It will show up in any one of those, or all of those fields. It will be in all of those boxes. So if I look into the APRS, if I look into colorblind, it's included in there. But if I go into APRS as well, which is an interesting fact, it's removed the APRS, but it's showing me that it's also tagged in these fields, which is great. Okay. If you wanted to do it fancy-wise, and there's a ton of little cheaties like this, but oops, if I do label, and you can see it's starting to do a few that I've done in the past. So if I want to see peach and label unread, unread is an automatic label. I haven't actually opened it. Bang, there we go. Don't worry, Peach Media, it's all FYI stuff. So there's some really cool abilities there. Now I'm just going to, before I get too far, I'm going to untag all of this stuff. Okay, and that's it. Now it's just a plain old inbox. So the filters, how do you get it to do this sort of cool stuff? Let's go into filters, go to settings, and there's your filters. Sorry, I did that. So go into your little wheel, go into settings, and filters are right here. Okay, and while we're on the APRS game, so I'll just go in here and edit. So what I did, because whoever emails me from APRS, it's always going to be at aprs.com.au. I just needed the aprs.com.au part. I could have further refined it by who they sent it to. Did they send it to Graham at YBME, or Graham at APRS, or Graham at wherever? You can filter by a subject. So you can thin down your criteria as much as you like. They've got the options for attachments and charts and everything. Once you've set your criteria, you go continue, and then it asks you what you want to do with it. Mark it as read, star it. I've told it to apply the APRS filter label. Sorry. You can choose forward, you can delete, you can do whatever you like. That's probably a good one actually. If you get rubbish and you just can't seem to get rid of it, you can just automatically delete. And categories that's those categories that were there as well. So you can sort of override Google's interpretation of some of your emails as well. Okay. And you can see I've got quite a few there, and I've got multiple ones. So there's one for unique, and there's also another one for unique. Home fresh, home fresh. So I've covered a few bases. I saw a few gaps where things were missing. So I've adjusted them. Now my business partner, Abby, if she needs to send me something that's urgent, it'll be from Abby. And inside the subject, we've agreed that if she puts action there, I need to get onto it pretty quickly. And then it labels it with Abby Action, which is in orange to stand out. Very simple. So that is just some of the navigation and some of the setting up of Gmail to do an email. Very simple. There's your compose. I'll just do one to myself. Okay. Some of these things, this is not usually there. That's an add-on, which I will be demoing later on. So one of some of the things that might be unusual for an Outlook user, there's your CC, there's your blind CC. So they're just standard. There's your subject. Attaching. Now you can just click there to attach a file. If you want to attach something from your Google Drive that's already there, fantastic. Insert a photo. Not too sure how that works. I know if it's on a phone, bang, it just goes straight to the camera. It might be for your images actually. It's probably part of your images. You can insert a link, MotionCon, or an invitation. So there's a bit of flexibility there. This is where you can modify. So you click on that, and that brings up your fonts. There's not a great deal of fonts. Google don't have a lot of great deal of fonts, but they're different enough that they get the job done. That's your colors. So if I highlight, colors are better than Outlook. There's a lot more to choose from there. And then you got your formatting and whatnot. Now, if you hold down your shift button and hit that, actually if I do it without, it goes to a larger screen and I can just reduce again. If you hold down shift though, it turns it into its own little window, which I find very useful. Especially now, I can go back into my Gmail, I can check things, and it's a separate tab down here. So if you've got dual screen and everything, that's incredibly handy. Send. Done. Finished. So that's quite simple. There's nothing too fancy there. Your sent mail is your sent mail. All that. And you've got drafts, you've got spam. Circles, I won't go into detail, but that's all tied to Google Plus. And to be honest with you, I'm not 100% on all of it yet. Something that's quite cool. It's kind of like a bit of a hybrid between Facebook and tying it all into your Google sort of stuff. I get a lot of people that are following me at the moment, which is good. Not sure why, but hey, more the better. So that's really it. I would like to show you a few more things on replying and forwarding, but I'm going to pick out a select email that's not offensive and doesn't give away any information before I do that. So that will be in a separate one. Okay, so thank you for listening.